please give a round of applause to Paul and Christina.
Good morning, everybody. We've been looking very much forward to today, and just as a bit of a nod to this morning's opening about vulnerability, I'm just going to start off immediately saying that it's been 20 years since I stood on any kind of conference. It was quite traumatic. Paul, when did you last stand on a conference to speak to?
Right now. This is my first time.
So.
Thank you.
So without further ado, we're gonna basically kick this off. We're gonna introduce ourselves a little bit into the thing. But we're gonna start in the beginning here now to tell you, why Arla and IT. So that's you, Paul.
Yeah, the dairy industry is quite challenging. We've got very little time to get the milk from the farm to the consumers. It's about 24 hours, and we always have to keep going. If anything in production ever stops, we can't collect the milk from the farm, which means the milk has to be disposed of, which is an absolute disaster. So the only way to do that is through technology, on our production sites, all the way through to our forecasting, looking at customers. So we're always looking at how we can do things better, how we can be more efficient, and that's done through tech. And that's why we're here.
Yeah, that is why we're here. We're here because IT and Arla completely go together, so it's really important to maybe to shift to the next one.
Yes.
So, and yes, you will see some really, some cow puns in here. We couldn't really do this presentation today without any cow puns. We might just get them out of the way immediately because, we are going to milk it, aren't we?
Yeah, let's not get too cheesy now.
They're gonna stampede out of here. Now, moving on. So we are here because Arla needs IT. And let's get into the presentation so you know who the hell we are. So, Arla. Is there anybody here who doesn't know what Arla is? Right, so you can skip that one.
Okay, cool. So everyone knows who Arla is, but a little bit more about it. Arla is a dairy cooperative. We have 8,500 owners, farmer owners. We've got about 21,000 employees, and we're the world's 4th largest dairy company and the largest organic milk producer in the world. We have some stuff here about our strategy, our Future 26. I think the one that is most relevant these days and is the last two that you can see there, the Lead Sustainable Dairy and the Build Growth Platforms. That's where a lot of what we're going to talk about is applied inside Arla. First, a little about me. My name is Paul Freeman. I've been 8.5 years in Arla Foods. I'm based in Poland, in Gdańsk. I'm originally from the UK. I'm a senior manager in IT operations for the Intelligent Automation and Data Lakehouse team. I am best described, and that's been really generous, as a DevOps noob. She knows. What I'm not so noobish about, I'm a gamer. I like to dabble with model rocketry, and I'm a very proud owner of a golden retriever, who I'm really looking forward to seeing tomorrow night. But I'm the noob, so let's move on to somebody who can help out.
Yeah, well, I guess that's me then. My name is Christina. I work for a company called DevOps. It is an IT consultancy company. We work with turning our customers into digital leaders. And we do that through a lot of different areas. Some of them we've got up here, a lot of strategy, sourcing. Even sometimes we need to, revise completely the technology platforms that the companies are using to be, better digital leaders. We'll help with that part as well. We also have a deep dive on sustainability if it's needed. Now, we're in 18 countries with 10,000 people across the world. We're French owned, but I'm a Dane. So Arla came and asked us, or asked actually some vendors, can you help us do something about how we develop and deliver IT? And that's exactly my area of expertise because, operating models and DevOps and Agile, and I'm on. So that's me. That's my name. I've been working for 5 years in Devo team, a lot of years with Maersk before, that's why I wear blue. I'm an expert director. That sounds really fancy. It means I'm a super nerd. I'm a DevOps evangelist. I'm not technical, but per se. I have other better people working with me who are very technical. And I'm a happy gamer mom, and that's one of the things that we connected on. So while he builds things, I shoot things. And that's a good collaboration that we've got. So talk to me about Battlefield. Okay, good. So that's me, and we were very, very happy to be invited in to help Arla figure out, so what do we do about churning out IT faster? And the project was really simple, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's simple in my book and my colleagues' books. We need to be able to do secure, high quality, fast IT. As I say, Arla's got a lot of challenges, so we just need to be able to go faster. And when we're looking into tailor-made or custom-built, bespoke-built solutions, we need to be able to do that faster. So Christina, go do.
Yeah, go do, yeah, of course. No, I'm just going to get myself a little team of a lot of people, and then, of course, that is simple. If any of you have ever been part of a big, DevOps transformation, you know that the moment you scratch the surface and get a little beyond the leadership team, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff. Very soon you get into incentive schemes and roles and responsibilities. You get into the processes and the people that don't want to move out of whatever. You get into what kind of platforms are we using? Do we even know what platforms mean in this context? And it gets really, really complicated really fast. So we had to kind of simplify that a bit. So let's wind that back. Okay, can we take it back to the pain that we're trying to solve here? Why can't you just deliver fast with what you've got, Arla? Tell me, what's going on here? So, Paul, tell me, what is the process that you're running today to develop and get things into operations? Tell me, what's the journey?
We always start with happy developers, right? Happy developers doing their thing. That's what we have, that's what we enjoy having. Then they do some documentation, sometimes before we go live, sometimes afterwards. We always get documentation. But the dev team, one of the key parts of their cycle is attending what we call a sim board meeting.
A sim board meeting?
Yes, it's a weekly meeting where they meet with IT operations and other stakeholders to present the project that they're working on, the product, and get some feedback from operations, from me and my teams.
So is it just you, or?
No, there's about 30 or 40 participants.
You've got one meeting with 30 to 40 participants?
Yes.
On a weekly basis?
Yes.
Do they have jobs apart from this?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who's in there?
We have security, we have the different parts of IT operations itself. You've got access management, you've got data privacy, you've got the infrastructure guys, cloud guys. Anybody with anybody with an interest in what that product could be is there.
So it's a big kumbaya every Wednesday with all of the control tribes. This is what I call control tribes. It's the people with the policies, right?
Yes.
But you call it a sim board meeting?
Yes.
Okay, so, all right. So weekly meeting, all right, with 40 people, all right. And yeah. What happens after the meeting?
So the team will always get feedback. With 30 or 40 people, you generally get 30 or 40 opinions. That's the way it goes. So the dev team take that feedback. They work on fixing those challenges or giving more information around what they're trying to do, what they're trying to achieve. And then once it's done, it gets approved and they go live.
And is that a fast process to fix all of those things?
No.
Okay. So this is one of the delays, this is one of the pains, right?
Yes.
Okay, but there is a reason that you have this process, I assume. Because
Absolutely.
otherwise you would have done away with it.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me what is the reason we have it?
I mean, again, our systems matter.
Yeah,
What
of
we
course.
do matters.
Yeah.
We, historically, and still today, we get some very, very large applications off the shelf. We fit them to our needs, and we have a lot of business critical solutions. When something goes down, it has real world impact.
What kind of real world impact?
Production will stop. Milk will not get produced. We don't have things to deliver to the end users.
Are you
to
saying
the
I'm
consumers,
not
sorry.
going to get milk in my coffee if your system? Okay.
Or cheese for your...
Obviously. If you need to have a meeting with 30, 40 people to make sure I get milk in my coffee, that would be disastrous. I wouldn't be here today if I didn't get milk in my coffee. It goes without saying. Cheese on my bread.
And that's what we try to protect.
Of course. So for the stuff that you've got in your systems landscape that's really complicated, just say good order, this is not yours. This is something we got because we couldn't, of course not. But it explains the point. So for those processes, because it's really highly complicated and disastrous if it goes down, you have a really, really intense process.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what we need is something
That's lighter.
That's lighter, that works for the non-critical solutions, the solutions that need to be faster.
Okay, but why do you need something that's Why do you need something that's lighter?
So if we take, there's plenty of different examples where we need something lighter, something easier to develop with, but one of them is sustainability. Sustainability is a huge, huge thing for Arla, as it is for everybody. But there isn't a silver bullet. There isn't one thing that you can just do. There isn't one company that can just come in and fix all of the problems or tell you what to fix. It doesn't exist. You need to do it yourself. The way to do it in Arla is looking into the data. These are our own farmers, so we can get the data from the farm. We can get every aspect of the production chain, every aspect of getting the products to the consumers. And analyze that entire thing and find those opportunities. And when you find those opportunities, we need to execute fast, because every day matters. The sooner we can get something done that is more sustainable, the better for everybody.
Oh, you need to give me an example here. How does Arla drive sustainability via data? Come on. I can't work with this fluffiness.
One of the ways that we've done it is through a climate check.
Climate check.
Getting out to the farms and actually building an app that can assess the carbon footprint of each farm. And then you've got things a little bit more practical on the back of that.
Yeah, give me some practical stuff. Something I can touch. Maybe I don't want to touch it if it's what I think it is.
How's poop-powered trucks?
Poop
Yes.
power tricks.
Yes.
Tell me about poop power.
On the back of the climate checks, we go out there and go, okay, well, we've got all of this biomass, all of this waste, solid waste coming from the cows.
Are you talking about cow poop now?
Yes, we're talking about cow poop.
Okay,
Yeah.
just checking.
Gather all of that, get it and harvest the biogas, and use it to actually fuel the trucks that are collecting the milk from the farms, use it to get the product to the store. It's being produced, so capture that and use it.
And that's IT supports that?
So because we're not a biogas harvester, so we need to be able to make sure that the poop that's collected from the farm is tracked all the way through the chain, so that we know that the biogas that goes into the truck is ours. Another example of that is the wind turbines that farmers can put up on their farm. They're able to sell that energy back to Arla. We buy the power from the farmers, but we need to make sure that it's ours.
You need to track it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So you're doing a lot of things now to ensure that you want to do something really inventive, right? You want to do something really special to drive sustainability. I know that you guys also committed to the 1.5 degree world target, right?
Yes.
So it's one of these things. So let's see if we can help you. Now, imagine creative process, like a dev team that has a great idea, like a really, really great idea. And some of you may have just sneaked a peek at this next slide. Let's imagine we have a dev team of Doc Brown and Martin McFly. So that's our dev team. They have created, say, a time machine. And they go back to 1955 to change the feed of all of the cows to be a more sustainable feed. Do you think if we did that back in 1955, would that have, a sustainability impact on today's world that we could actually feel?
Absolutely.
It's a good idea. It's a great idea.
Yes,
all
totally.
right. So let's say in this situation, we've actually done that. So we have a dev team. They've been running, agile. They did the happy developers you talked about before. Now, they've tried it. It worked. The cows got more sustainable feed. We can actually see that on the carbon footprint of today. So now they want to hand over the time machine to operations. I wonder what that process is going to look like if they were trying to do that. And we're just trying to give you an idea of what the review process today looks like. They have the best idea. They have the best technology. They've done something really extraordinary that will drive sustainability. It's so creative now. Okay, so Paul, you're sitting there in that Wednesday meeting with 40 people. You're looking at a DeLorean. And you're like, okay, I see the DeLorean. So what's going to be the feedback? Let's go there.
First off, no one in security has ever heard of flux capacitors.
What's a flux capacitor? Never heard about those before. They don't work here.
I'm sat here in ops saying, okay, so I've got to run this time machine.
Yeah.
I don't have anybody qualified to be a time machine mechanic, to be a quantum mechanic.
Yep.
Oh, the service desk?
Yeah, the service desk. Do we need to be present in every year since 1955 now? Because then we're off to the union to get more money now. It's not going to be a very fun process for these guys. They've got the invention of a lifetime, and what do they get met with? So this is the process. And so after figuring out, so this is actually all of the, we need somehow to get all of these security checks in place in a different way. We started to get a lot of input, didn't we?
Yeah.
We'll go to the next one. So we started talking to a lot of people. These are milk tanks, actually they're milk silos. But and you can read into the silos as you want. But we started talking to leadership. We talked to the operations guys. We talked to architecture. We talked to security. We talked to all of the people who work with platforms. We talked to the engineering teams, and we got a lot of input on what can we do to optimize this process, so that in the future, if you guys invent something really fantastic, we can actually quickly put it into operations and won't have to be stuck forever in limbo. So we got a lot of input.
Yeah.
And then.
So what did you come up with?
Christina, go and fix this. Yes. Okay. So I need you guys to make a hard decision first. Like, for your IT, how much are you going to outsource? That's number one. And you need to give me feedback. What do you want?
I'll give you feedback at the end.
You'll give me feedback. Okay. So I need to know, do you want to actually keep all of your IT in-house before we even get started here? And then I need to know, how much can I challenge your safe, because you're running safe at Arla, aren't you? So who here knows what safe is? Okay, so a general understanding of what safe is. So do you really need to stay in the safe zone, or can we actually get you into more straight-cut DevOps? And the third big question is, are you ready to actually take some of these, the DeLorean kind of machinery out of Arla IT and stick it into its own kind of business and CVR number, its own separate company, like we did with mobile pay? That was like its own company. Are you ready? So give me some feedback here. Tell me, what do I have to work with? How crazy can I get?
I think with bespoke software, our biggest drive is we want to keep the knowledge inside Arla. So,
all right.
First one, no.
No outsourcing.
Thank you, but no. We've done that before. We don't want to do that again. The third option,
Yeah.
this totally splitting out, sounds awesome.
Yeah, I thought so.
Amazing.
You need a
Maybe a
CIO?
little bit too ambitious. Maybe a little bit too big
Okay.
for our
okay,
needs.
Okay. Okay.
And we really do like safe.
Yeah. All right.
So it's got to be one of the two, and we like the hybrid option.
So a hybrid option where you still have dev and ops, but you need something to make the transition smoother and a little bit more fun and interesting and optimized in many ways. Okay. But I really like the digital factory, though. Maybe later?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's some initial choices for creating an operating model. And this is like business secrets, so don't take pictures. Go on. Let's see what we've got.
Yeah. The question is,
Yeah.
how much ocean do we want to boil?
So what do you mean with how much ocean do you want to boil? I'm talking about cows here, not fish.
We've shown what the governance is like in Arla. It's quite big.
Yeah.
So do you want to take it all on?
Yeah.
Maybe that's a little bit too much. Are we ready? Is ops really ready to get right there with dev teams? There still needs to be a bit of segregation. So you're trying to boil the ocean.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't work. Anybody who's read, some of the literature on some of the big transitions and tried it on their own bodies, we all know that agile transformations, big style, doesn't work. You have to find a corner where people are ready and willing. You have to find a corner where the resistance is not too big, and we need to have enough scope to learn. Speaking of failure, we need to fail safely and fast, because we also don't want to disrupt all of my morning milk and my coffee and stuff. It doesn't work. So coming back to the honey part of it, grassroots is really important. So we need to start small.
Yeah, starting small, good idea. But what could it look like?
Okay, so this was the operating model that we actually ended up having, or suggesting to you guys. So I'm gonna just spend a moment. This is where it gets a little bit on the hairy side, because I'm not sure how many here have actually seen an operating model before. We created this one for Arla, so you've definitely not seen this one before. So the top green bar is actually leadership. Leadership is, they're doing that today. They set out strategy. And they say, so what do we want to do? So what are our business priorities? How much money do we have? All that is coming from, and what, agendas around security, safety, psychological safety, all of that is coming from leadership. And it goes into these boxes here on the right. And you don't have these today. Because today, all of these people are sitting in your Wednesday meeting, which actually happens in the stomach of operations.
Yes.
So we're taking all of the control tribes, we call these control tribes, and then moving them to the left. They're not supposed to be in hard meetings all the time with the dev teams. They're supposed to create policies. And Paul, now you have to read this book called Investments Unlimited. Here, this is my gift to you.
It's a good book.
Okay, so here you go. So they need to create policies that will be sunk into the developer platform as code. We call that policy as code, and they're going to share that same platform with the ops guys that are going to be working on that. That's some of the yellow bits down here. So there's a platform engineering team that needs to do policy as code, and they will then, that developer platform, you're going to love it and you're going to share it because you're sitting in operations. And that's going to be your single source of truth for data that goes back to leadership about how you're actually performing and where we're going. So that's going to be brilliant. And within the dev teams, because you've chosen the hybrid model, we're going to keep them as is, but we're going to have to put some SREs in there. So we need someone in operations to actually get this great new skill set that we're going to teach you about. It's called site reliability engineering, and we're going to infuse those into the dev team. So they're going to have some ops people there to take care of all of the actions, all of the policies that they might not understand coming out from the control tribes, but it's going to be embedded in how they work. So it's going to be brilliant. This is heaven, This is going to be amazing, And that's why you pay me the big bucks to make you amazing, heavenly visions. Of course, we need to try this.
Yeah. Well, I think what you say now and what you said then, when we did this, they're all very happy noises. Awesome. But how do we keep it alive?
Yeah.
We've got this big, large, huge legacy way of working.
Yeah.
This old way that we still need to keep it. We still need to protect the things that we need to protect.
Yeah.
So how do we make sure that it doesn't get lost?
And let me come back to the anchoring of this in a moment, because I know that's very much on your mind, because the culture that you've got is very much shaped by that 40 people meeting there. So we're changing away from that. But in order to even start the journey, so this is what I suggest that you guys do. So you've got, can you start? Are you willing to start small? Mm-hmm. So tell me.
I mean, so we've got those control tribes. We can take those Symboard people.
Yeah, not all of the control. It's a few control tribes. What are the critical ones?
So we take operations?
Yeah, obviously.
Thank you.
Yeah. We need those guys.
Architecture, security, they're important, I think.
Yeah, but I think so. The architecture guys actually would like the DeLorean. They actually want a Ferrari, right?
Yeah. We'll give you a couple of pilot teams to this.
Yeah.
People who can actually try it and run it and see how it goes.
Yeah, we need some people to actually do and live this, right?
Build the platform engineering team.
Yeah, and they're kind of split everywhere right now, so we need them to come together.
Ops team. So I still get a job.
Yes.
I got to be part of this.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
And you guys also establishing some pretty, amazing cloud teams. And of course, we know the cloud services need to be embedded in that platform, so they can be provisioned really easily, so they don't have to ask ops every time, give me a sandbox, please. So that would be nice. And we also need to create. Let's borrow a bit of turf from Spotify and get you some chapter structure to make sure they get continual feedback on the thing from all of the developers, so we know that we're balancing control and freedom.
Okay, that's fine. Can we not call it chapters? Can we call it herds?
Oh, again with the cows. Okay, moving on. So
again,
how do we anchor?
How do we make sure it doesn't get lost?
So we're also conscious of time. So let's just say we invented something that was actually a bit special. Within the safe structure, there was an RT, a release train engineer. We decided to add a secondary engineer for the release trains that did need to run this alternative way of working. So we had an RT that was specific for tailor-made IT, so the culture wouldn't drown. We also made sure that you guys had, appropriate anchoring on leadership level, somebody who would be owning this, measuring it, and running it and making sure that it got budget and attention and people. We also had some thought leaders in the dev teams that were the pioneer teams. And then we had this amazing fellow sitting over in operations who was going to be the spokesperson for this day-to-day to make sure that the liaison between dev and ops worked. How are you feeling the pressure on your shoulders at this point, Paul?
Pressure's there.
Yeah, well,
I'm ops, I live on pressure. It's fine.
Broad shoulders. Well, so, let's tell me, how are you progress? So we finalized this project back in January, right?
Yeah.
So what happens now?
So the leadership team has already approved the plan. They've given us the funding, which is awesome. The hardest hurdle. The people who are internal, who needed to be appointed to these new roles, these new titles, this new responsibility, that's done. They're already hired. The pioneer teams, they have a PI planning coming up here in a couple of weeks' time, and they'll be kicking off with that, with this new way. And then, of course, we're looking for new people.
Yes.
So
you've got jobs up there right now, right?
Shameless plug. If anybody's looking for a job, careers.arla.com. Thank you.
But there's also, of course, there's a lot of complexity, things that need to be in order, right?
Yeah.
So you're still working on some bits.
Yeah, we've still got, we're working with Azure DevOps and ServiceNow on the ops side, so we need to integrate the two. That's still a work in progress. The Cloud Center of Excellence that we started earlier this year, that's also starting up now, working on the developer services. And then finally, which we announced yesterday, We have hired a new CISO, starting from the 1st of July, to head up this security challenge that we have, to make sure we have the right focus on security.
And that's going to be an amazing shift left on security, right?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. When Paul and I started, Paul was the noob. He's not so noob anymore, but I did decide to kind of take all of the references, things that we built this information, the model on. This is the inspiration, and I would, I'll recommend these any day for people who are looking into building modern operating models. And of course, we've got our contact details on this as well, so in case you want to come and talk to us, that's also good. And we're going to be here, and we're happy to talk to anyone. And I'm allowed to say the sticker thing, right? I have some DevOps by DevOps stickers that are actually, with the logo of the Rebel Alliance from Star Wars. If you can answer a trick question about DORA metrics, if you come and talk to me, you get a sticker. Just saying. So now the heat is on. All right, so I think that was, we hope you enjoyed and that we did okay, even though this was the first one we did.
Thank you.